right, Bubba. Yeah, that's more like it. Let's get in that red line.
Oh, there we go.
Alrighty.
Let's introduce ourselves.
All right.
It's me, Bo-bby.
It's
AKA the Bubby, number...
You're just Bo.
Alright.
He's the Bo-bby.
Hey, no names. I thought we weren't doing anything. No names!
Oh.
Just numbering.
Anyways.
I am Bubby number 2.
I'm Bubby number 1.
I'm Bo-bby.
What number are we on right now?
You're
Why don't
3.
you do it by age?
Well,
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd be Bubby too, but I'm Bobby, so I don't even
But
count.
we've done it
So-
before. It's already in the lore. We already have
Listen, if you think about
I'm the OB.
the old B. All right, we gotta cut
The
that one.
original-
Cut that out.
the original Bubby production.
And together we form Bubbycast.
Bubbycast.
Hey.
Wait, no, we
Plus-
gotta redo that.
plus
We gotta make
Trinity.
it better.
But she doesn't really count because she's a,
Not a Bubby.
she's not a Bubby.
Honorary Bubby.
I'm a Bubby that's soon to be married.
Bubby-in-law.
Bubby-in-law.
The hottest new holiday movie. It's had people on the edge of their seats.
Star Trek 2,
Bad
Spaceballs.
Moms 2.
Actually, we have to.
It's a Bad Mom's Christmas.
We have to test the baseline of one of the Bubbies. So
Within cells, interlink. I think I'm good.
Interlink.
okay,
Have you ever
Are
felt
you
the face
a
of
robot? Interlink.
Interlink.
Have you ever
Oh.
felt the face of another? Interlink.
Interlink. That was a spice. Man,
That
our
was a
references.
spicy
Our
movie.
references are all over the place. Camera 8.
Bring us to camera 7.
Go back.
All right. Camera 7.
If you guys don't know what that means, which you probably don't,
That's not our fault.
yeah, if you were to subscribe,
Yeah,
Then
maybe
you really have a clue.
maybe you'll stick with the references. Oh, so we all, y'all,
Us bubbies.
us bubbies.
Host Bubbies just got back from a...
It was Star Wars Episode 8, The Adventures of Space Super Leia.
Girl.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Spoiler,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
This will be in the title already, so you've probably seen that. But this
Anyways.
group review will be absolutely filled with spoilers because the movie sucked.
Okay, so Shark Boy and Lava Girl number
Shark
2.
Boy and Lava Girl 2. Let's get into that.
let's talk about it.
Let's just jump right in.
Movie ever.
Now, character development, not on the same level, but I really like how Taylor Lautner has developed over the course of the two.
And
Yeah. I
Kylo
also-
Ren really makes a difference in the movie.
The movie, I think collectively,
6 out of 10.
You can't just rate it. You gotta rate it at the end.
Well, no,
You gotta
it's
give
just,
all
we'll
your,
give it-
you
no,
gotta
it's-
give
no,
all your
we'll mix it
I
up.
viewpoints.
already
No,
watched the movie.
I agree. We'll mix it up.
Yeah.
Let's get a group. Let's get a group person by person number rating, and then we'll explain why. We'll start with Bobby.
Alright, you didn't even give me time to think. If I was to give it a rating, I would probably...
Speaking of the microphone,
I would probably say it is a 6, maybe 7 out of 10.
all right. Bubby number 2.
I'm gonna go 6 out of 10.
I'm gonna go 10 out of 10. Best Star Wars ever, and you can shut your mouth.
So that was a third 6 out of 10. I would probably give it as well 4 for 4, a 6 out of 10.
So if we average that
Hold
together,
on, hold
that's
on.
what,
Hey,
5
hey,
out of 10?
hey. Bubby-in-law.
What?
Anyways, it's the Bubby
What's your
It
number?
was the only one that I could follow, so that probably judged its
Number?
Yeah.
Another
So what's the number?
It was, I guess it's not good.
Anyways, we have a not
So
good
we
out
have
of
4.
10.
So we have a bunch
4
of
6s
sheep
out of 10
with
and a
an
not good
orange
out of 10. So we're gonna go around and
So-
we're gonna introduce ourselves, why we're here at this meeting. and
Yeah.
When was the last time we
This
had a
is
drink?
this is my 4th time coming here. It physically pains me to hear the word Bobby Burnett.
What I took from it is that it lacked where it lacked, and
That's
it
right.
prevailed where it prevailed. And that's
Beautiful.
my-
And that's the review. Hope y'all enjoyed.
Make sure
Don't
to like and subscribe.
forget to like-
If you already liked and subscribed,
Don't
then
forget to-
unsubscribe and like again and subscribe
If you
again.
Make sure to tap the little bell notification so you get notified every time we upload.
Yes,
on
please.
the
Yeah.
Bubbycast.
Yeah,
if you'd like to follow our second channel,
Hit
which
the
is more of
Liberty
a
Bell.
I think the first complaint that all of us had collectively was just the humor was just not really hitting for any of us.
It was forced more than it was kind of just there. Like, okay, so the Avengers, I mean, they kind of, their humor isn't too forced, but it's in a good place to be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of had.
Like with the entire Loki Hulk thing.
Well, like, I mean,
Was it Loki?
In
Hulk?
general, too, I feel like just the Marvel like
they're more
movie.
goofies.
Yeah, and how they've set it up from the beginning is sort of that to
Yeah.
not take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
But when you
But
think
their
of Star
humor
Wars,
isn't forced.
and also when you think of just like the stakes in this movie, like at multiple points, like they're literally like, "Oh, this is the last of the rebellion, the last of the rebellion." This is all you hear, and then you cut to like
What's her face?
something I just read, a scene that I just was reading because I got curious and read some comments after we saw the movie. But
Very specific.
when Kylo blows up the hangar with like all those pilots in it, and like Poe barely survives, and like he's just seen all of his friends and comrades absolutely obliterated, and what it cuts to as soon as he picks himself off the ground is BB-8. Like, oh, my head fell off.
Yeah,
Let me
doing it-
stick it back on.
Yeah, doing like a really high-pitched whoop, 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 just because it's funny. And it's like, oh yes, half of the rebels just died right
Yeah.
there.
Like, that's completely just like those
mean,
sort
I
of
understand-
weird tone things.
Yeah, like
were
I
just
understand
all
like the
throughout.
comedic relief, but
I
that's
think
they were pushing it.
The comedy they need, what the Avengers did, they need to destroy New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed.
Think about it. They light speed to Earth.
Yeah.
I think they should light speed through Earth.
Yeah.
Just get it over with. Why stop in New York? Am I right? But I mean, another thing we agreed on is if you guys have seen the movie, Princess Leia does get exploded.
Into space.
And
Like,
for a couple moments, I would say around what would the time be? The time stamp of her being out in space?
a minute or
Not
two of the
even 30
movie.
seconds.
You
You
think?
sure?
I feel like it was longer
Yeah.
than that.
Because
feel
she
like it was a
passed out
minute.
from the explosion and the G-force of the explosion.
Okay.
So.
Well, I mean, all the spacecrafts were like flying around too. I'd say
Yeah,
it was
right,
How
a
does she
because-
wake herself up? Because usually you wake up, I go, but you can't really do that in space.
Yeah.
So.
No, at the very least, she
Neurons.
can't.
Natural
Shit.
force,
She-
like,
she's an
saved her,
alien.
brought her back.
She's an alien.
Alien Covenant, that's what brings us to that.
All
What
right.
she did, she put a force
Shitty
field
movie.
around her face.
She literally used the Force
She
to
used-
force air into her. She forced her
So,
body.
kinda
She
like how
forced
the movie
space
was
to
forced.
become air in that little bubble, and then she's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I need to get over there." The scene, I'm sure, if you've seen the movie, is just honestly. Some people,
Such a turn
some
off.
comments I saw were saying like, "Is this the worst Star Wars scene ever?" Throughout
Well,
is this the worst individual scene in
Because
any Star Wars
I mean,
movie?
I recently watched most of the Star Wars because I was hyped for this movie, so I watched it with a friend, and I didn't really see anything that crazy and absurd to like be like, man, that was a bad move on their part. And I know like the movies came out in the 70s, so it's like, oh my god, it's you kind of have to accept it. Like you don't really have a say in it because we weren't alive back then. But I mean, I feel like most of it was kind of sane compared to everything else. Like what I took from it is that they played the movie way too safe. They didn't kill like a lot of people. Like what Bubby once said, is that Kylo Ren at any point could have killed what was his name?
Hux.
Hux, yeah,
The
General
general.
Hux. Like at any point, because General Hux had nothing to do there but just have a frown on his face and go, "Mwah!" Like he had no purpose to be there, but to
I
just-
control the army.
Yeah, so it's like there needed to be. I don't know. I felt like Kylo could have really showed how much he hated and he was done with everything by just blowing up his friend.
was
Not
your-
even a friend, but just like yeah.
What was your biggest gripe with the movie, Bubby number 2?
When Rey and Kylo Ren are fighting and they're pulling apart like the lightsaber because Rey's like, maybe I shouldn't join Kylo Ren. Like that whole part when it kind of just turns into like a stun grenade when the lightsaber breaks. I just thought that whole the outcome of that scene was just like, who wakes up first, And then Kylo Ren was like, "Oh, she woke up first," and she left.
He was slow.
Yeah,
He was
very-
so out.
Very convenient.
Oh, did you guys
man.
catch the part where General Hux almost pulled a gun on him and almost
Yeah.
shot Kylo while he was
Yeah.
passed out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought,
Which
honestly,
gives him even more reason to not live. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just
The worst in regards to Hux specifically as a character, but also the sort of issue with tone and comedy
Yeah.
in this is just the fact that
Oh yeah.
the very opening scene, the very opening scene, like Hux has this like cringy like dialogue
Patch him
thing.
through. Yeah.
It's like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
calling for General Hux.
I
It's
mean-
like, put him through. We will destroy you
How do you
and the
spell-
rebellion.
How do you spell
What?
General
I can't
Hux?
hear you. Can he hear me? We will destroy you. I can't hear you. Can he hear me? Yeah, he can hear you. The mic's on.
I think
Why
this is
can't he
valid.
hear me?
It's pretty valid.
It didn't belong in a Star
I mean,
Wars movie.
it was more humorous than any other thing they had. Like,
And it was awful.
Yeah, yeah.
It didn't
Yeah.
flow right with.
That's another point.
It really did not flow right because I was confused. I'm
And-
like, can he really hear him or can he not? Because
Yeah.
like his tone wasn't right
Yeah.
for it.
And
Especially
like,
just like-
yeah, like
Well,
there should be a
okay.
sarcastic tone.
Yeah.
Well,
Poe's-
one
Poe's too,
thing
like,
I did
weird.
like about this movie, which is kind of going against what y'all are saying. Well, not really, but the movie, it had a more general, tone to it. Like, it didn't focus on, like, a whole bunch of, like, little things, like, say the entire movie was about a side quest like they did in Star Trek.
Well, it's
but
just like
it focused on the main...
what it's
the main
turned
thing.
into. It's turned into not about saving the galaxy. It's about caring about people at the end.
Like when
Like-
the girl crashed into,
Yeah,
into
like,
Finn.
What?
'Cause
Okay, another thing
honestly,
that bugged me
and
out
then like
is
on that point quickly though, like how you say like it feels like it's not saving the galaxy. I feel like at no point do you really even have a vision of the other galaxy. Like, what does the First Order do?
Well, I
like
mean-
what? No, like the fact that to me at very least, like when they call for reinforcements and no one responds.
yeah.
Honestly, to me that calls into question like, is the First Order really even that bad?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is like a group of after they
Yeah, because-
obliterate most of the fleet.
Yeah, they
there's
haven't. They
there's
haven't
like
done
30
anything.
people that are like, hey, it's bad.
It was basically the rebels were trying to survive.
It was like
it wasn't
American
like the
Britain.
rebels were saving the galaxy. They were trying
No.
to survive, and it was like when nobody responded. Yeah, that makes sense. That like people are just like, hey, they're not that bad because they're not blowing people up. They're
Mhm.
making
Yeah.
people rich at that one island. They're all
yeah.
memeing out.
Shout
and
out
stuff.
to r/Empire did nothing wrong.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That
it's
subreddit's
just,
hilarious.
but yeah, that but like that brings us to what was that place called?
the casino planet.
Yeah, the casino
all it is.
planet. But like it's just like they,
Yeah.
Finn at the end of it was, Rose was just like, these people. You see these people? They made their living. They
They're
got
like-
dirty.
They're like, these people came into my village and stole my resources and then blew up my village. And it's like, yeah, that's probably not a good thing. But like,
Yeah.
specifically any of these people, or these
Yeah.
people are just wealthy and that makes you upset.
Yeah.
I'm seconding and thirding the whole dialogue was so off and so
I'm gonna
bad.
fourth it and
Because
fifth it.
It's like at the end when they get out of the town after the horse dogs ran around in it, they're like, "Go free horses, you're free!" And then the people are just like, "Hey, don't worry about those horses. They get out all the time. We'll just get them in the morning." Like, I mean, they were trying to make this big deal about letting these horses go, and then at
It's
the
not
end,
gonna make a difference.
Finn was just like, felt good though, tearing up the place, and you're just like, no,
They're
It's
like
just-
man,
neglected.
yeah,
very anti-capitalist.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna be upsetting when the cleaning crew has to go like
Yeah, the
pick
people
this up
who
in the
are
morning.
the people who you're trying to appeal to are gonna have to clean up the place after the day after.
they're like, man, you caused a lot of damage. A lot of people are hurt from that, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think that just honestly that ties into just how absurd plot wise this movie
Well,
was. There were
about
so
the
many
plot-
like bad character decisions too.
But the
as
thing
well.
is that Rose is nothing more than a security guard who tases people. And at
And-
the end of the movie,
and
she's
she
flying
told-
with the fleet.
That whole character like story arc with Finn and Rose was very forced.
No,
Yeah.
it was very forced just for the sole purpose of here's an action figure of Rose and you can buy it for $19.99.
Okay, well, Rose, you said Rose started out as a security person, whatnot, and she tases Finn.
Yeah, well, Finn
But
could have
she-
played that
she-
whole thing out. He could have been like, yeah, I'm going to save Rey. They told me to.
but she goes with Finn, doing what he's doing, and then complete side quest, like,
Yeah.
ruins a
That's-
place. Finn had no business doing that. He could have simply said no.
Yeah, and I think a
Yeah.
bigger picture
Like,
when you
right?
think about that, if they hadn't have done that, like
could've
when it
said
comes,
what
just think about this: the purple haired new commander because Leia's asleep after force pulling her way back into life,
After
and then
exploding.
and then physically back into the ship.
Yeah.
Which also, she just there was a one-sided door. It's not like she pulled herself into an airlock. They then opened that door to the bridge
Yes.
and just kind of pulled her, like,
And if we've seen
that would've-
Spaceballs, then
yes.
we
Yeah.
understand.
space
Okay, well,
space is also a vacuum, and that would
Well,
not-
what about
that would
the
pull people
sister?
into space.
The sister that pressed the payload. You saw like how it opened up into
Yeah.
space, and she was fine.
That's true. That's
That-
Yeah,
Oh,
also,
yeah.
that was like,
Yeah.
that was also like gravity.
Yeah.
That's not a thing in space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
True.
The
That's
bombs,
true,
all those
that
bombs.
is
Well, I mean,
true.
They're like,
Well,
we
no, no, no,
pressed
no,
the
no,
bomb
no.
button.
And then
well,
it
I mean,
just
think about it.
falls.
It's like falling towards the planet because everything
But
in
spaceships
space has
don't
gravity.
have gravity. It's not
They
big enough.
could have.
Unless, I mean,
All right,
it
that
would make
distracts
Unless-
that
yeah.
distracts a bit from the point that, like, if the purple-haired commander would have told everyone else, "Hey, the plan is this: we're going to keep going and then load people
Yeah,
onto the transports,
they-
which have cloaking
She
devices,
said nothing.
and sneak onto that."
They-
Everyone would have been like,
Oh,
"Oh yeah, that's actually a really good idea."
Finn,
Yeah.
go. But
That's
it's like,
actually a great idea. But
Yeah,
he's like,
the director-
"She doesn't have any plan.
She
We
did-
gotta
well, she
do
didn't-
well,
something."
the director made you feel like you have to hate her because she's trying to kill the rebels and she has no idea what she's doing. Turns out she does know what she's doing. She's trying to save everybody, and AKA she sacrifices herself. Like that's what they force you to do. They were like, "Oh, you thought
I don't
you
know.
thought you hated her.
No.
She's a good guy."
Okay, there was some satisfaction I got when the screen turned black and white and it showed how she like.
Well, that was a
plowed
cool.
No,
That was
there
a,
were-
that was
there
a
were-
cool scene.
That
And
was
I
pretty
feel
bad.
like that's
Visually-
I feel like that's something to say. Like I feel like this movie definitely had some good parts. The
Yeah.
whole Rey Kylo dynamic and just that sort of character development, at least in like the first two thirds of the movie, I feel like was definitely one of the most interesting and like best parts. That individual scene with the ship light
When they were-
speeding into the fleet.
Yeah, that was very pleasing.
Yeah.
That
Visually.
doesn't make sense in the context of the Star Wars universe, and if that is also how that thing operates, why don't people just use
Okay,
ships
well-
as light speed missiles all the
Yeah.
time? But that's kind of besides the point, as it looked badass.
Okay, well, think about
But-
this. With Kylo Ren, do you think there's actually a little bit of good in him because he
Well,
was
yes.
about to
Yes,
obliterate
But
Well, he
killed
killed.
well,
But
no,
the thing
okay,
is-
think
But he-
about
but
this.
he-
was about to obliterate what's her name? Han Solo's wife.
his mom.
Yes, he was about to obliterate her, but he didn't, and then the two people behind him just shredded
Yes,
her. And
and
But
just
it's
got
all right
rid of
because
her.
she lived anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they could have
Which
shot
is-
her.
They
in the
killed
face.
off a bunch of people that
Didn't matter.
characters that could have been developed, and instead kept the main character of an actress that is now dead.
Yeah.
Which to me is the most puzzling thing.
Listen, the next,
Like, are they just gonna kill her off in like the title
no,
crawl?
they won't. It'll be the
when
weekend
it's like-
at Bernie's. They're gonna.
Yeah.
They're just gonna
I'm
CGI her
saying-
in the
I
whole
think-
time.
I think
know,
that's kind of
that's
fucked
such
up.
a. I mean, that's such a waste of money, though. I mean, if they would have done that, they could have saved enough money
It
to
also-
hire a writer.
Carrie
It also
Fisher
just
was a
doesn't
good
make sense.
actor.
They
It's
should
just-
they should have sent off Leia.
Yeah,
they
they
had
should've.
two distinct opportunities in this movie.
Yeah.
One when she's blasted out into space, which is like oh,
Very-
it's actually gutsy. You're like
Yeah.
wow, she's really gone.
Yeah.
The way she like flipped out of the place, you died.
But it was like, I mean, they did that ties back into them playing it way too safe for it. I mean, like I'm sure that people had the same conversations about the first original trilogy that came out, but it's like I feel like this is somewhat different. I feel like
because of the director.
No.
You said the director.
well, J.J.
wrote
Abrams
it.
directed the first one, The Force Awakens, which wasn't. I mean, I felt like it
I thought it was
flowed.
good.
Yes, it did. It was more of a tribute to the original, as a more of a this is where we came from. Look at where we came from.
It was satisfactory to sort of reboot, like have a new modern,
Yeah,
besides the prequels, which
Yeah.
were like
clay animated.
Yeah.
all
and
that
just
stuff.
not as great. I feel like it was a solid like starting point, but I feel like this was just all over the place and had just a bunch of
Well,
waste.
even
Just
Rogue One, I felt like it started at Rogue One. Now, I don't know how you guys think about
I
it,
have
but I
not
thought
seen
that was more of a
Rogue One's
commercial.
tone and like
Yeah,
and
it was,
like
it was. They were more of commercializing that big old robot, the whatever it is, the gray robot.
Okay,
that was, you know what I mean?
I personally I haven't seen Rogue One.
But it's just.
So I'm gonna
I
go
mean,
off of what y'all said.
well, it's just like they did introduce characters, but it's like they haven't done anything with it.
It had a sense of urgency and danger.
Yeah.
Like, they barely pulled off this mission to get
like
this.
When Finn and,
In this movie, you could even say the stakes are absolutely higher because there's 300 people of the
I
rebellion
wouldn't even
in
say
total.
that much, but yeah.
And they were like, and they were just like,
all of them died.
And like, yeah, okay, and then...
luckily, the plot armor kept the transport that had all the main characters on it
Yeah, for real.
well secured.
It's like, sir, what are you doing? You're 483. Go on ship number 2.
Ship number
gonna get blown
4.
Up. Yeah, it'll
looks-
get blown up, but it's whatever. But there was no sense of urgency when
No.
Finn and what's the Chrome Dome were fighting.
Chrome Dome.
Like, okay, so when
I actually thought that was her name for
but
a
like,
second.
I
was
mean,
like,
like
Chrome
when they
Dome,
were
whoa.
fighting, there was no like I thought about it during the scene. I was like, what happens if Chrome Dome kills Finn? Like, how is
Nothing.
nothing would matter. Nothing would change about the fact.
Finn himself did, like Finn.
Very
That whole
little that whole movie.
Yeah.
side quest was actually did more harm than good.
Yeah, for
The
real.
only reason for that side quest is to
Well,
get
was
people
to get the programmer though, right?
No, it was
Yeah,
to.
they're
Well,
like,
they need
we're
him-
gonna hack the thing.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then the officer was like, stop right there, and then tases him.
If they would have parked in a parking lot,
I know
they
we
wouldn't
could
have been
avoided
arrested. They
all
would
of
have been in
this.
jail.
Oh my God.
They could have found the guy, the master, and that would have been saved, and then they would have gotten back.
Parked in a park.
And
Yeah,
I
these
just
were
love
successful
that because that
people.
was my thought too. When the guy was like, "Yeah, I mean, I told him it was a public beach, but they just went on in."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, they're there, and then they just wrecked the whole place.
Yeah.
I
Like-
know they really did.
Like, oh, these people are arms dealers and they're bad. And then when like the Giro, I like Del Toro's character. I thought he was very refreshingly like blunt. Like he
blunt,
didn't get
yeah.
he's like these are the bad guys. These are arms dealers. And then he's flipping through the different holograms, and then it's
The
like
X-Wing
TIE Fighter,
comes
and
up.
it's like, oh, X-wing. It's like, whoa. It's like you'll see something different. And then it's like, huh. Maybe.
Yeah.
He takes his money and
Like
leaves.
that was, I guess, a very realistic, blunt thing. And I mean, we also have to think about movies are for entertainment, so it's
Yeah.
like they don't have to be so real all the time. How can I sell BB-8 more? You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Speaking
That
about-
new puppy.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's like if,
Yeah,
if the little puffy thing wouldn't have done the 3 squeaks more than it did, people probably wouldn't buy it that much.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
But now little kids who go and see the movie, they're gonna want themselves one of them.
And speaking about the squeaky chicken thing, whatever, the bird thing.
Chewbacca was gonna eat that.
Yeah.
He was gonna eat him.
And a kind of a thing we talked about while we were driving back in the car is that why did Chewie have sympathy for the chickens if he already killed
After
both
he
of them?
killed him.
Killed
Yes,
him, roasted
so-
him up to a perfect golden brown.
Yeah, that
So-
looked delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah,
did,
I
yeah.
would have eaten.
So meaning he saw him beforehand before he killed them. Meaning, so the sympathy could have been
Yeah,
before, but whatever.
I was saying,
Whatever.
if like one of my bird friends just got roasted, I'd be like, well, eat the thing. I mean, you just
Better
killed
him,
my buddy.
better him
Okay,
than
well-
me, I
Well,
suppose.
I mean, it's just like you
What?
just killed my buddy, and you're gonna throw him away. He could have lived, and you could have been still hungry.
One thing I like that's been
Please stop.
aggravating me is this says in the beginning of the movie, I'm not going to direct quote this, but it says in a galaxy far, far away. What? How did they? How did they have poultry? How did they have chicken?
It felt very relatively close to Earth,
Yeah.
considering it's a long time ago and a very far, far away. That's
did
my
I,
take.
did I mess
maybe,
it up?
maybe it's far, far away for that planet, which means it takes place on Earth.
Oh my god.
Dude, I saw one moon. I saw one moon.
Yeah, one moon. That means
It was
Pizza.
so cool. Means what? Pizza?
yeah.
What the?
It's a New York crossover. Honestly, the fact that this whole time we were actually just going to this random planet.
Yeah, but what
And
happened
I
with
didn't tell-
Snoke?
I didn't tell no-
Snoke is like, oh yeah, Kylo's my puppet. I
Snoke's
can
character
read
development,
anything.
Snoke is built up as this like supreme Sith
He should've
master.
been more-
But he functionally did nothing.
There was no
It doesn't even
stakes.
make sense.
There
Yeah,
was no
exactly.
stakes.
There's
there
no
was-
tension. He's like, I'll kill you.
Yeah, like, okay, so basically the whole movie was about them trying to survive. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I understand getting sad when a character dies, but it was like, oh man, the Death Star is gonna blow up Tatooine. We gotta stop them. Like,
Wasn't
that's
that in The Force Awakens? Did they blow it up a second time?
no, but
Yes,
what
we
I'm
heard.
what I'm saying is that like there were no stakes.
And then the fact that like when you think it's like the rebels will be completely wiped out, when they do touch on like that's what we live with, it doesn't feel heavy hitting. You don't feel
Because
like
you know they're gonna win at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's you
'Cause-
kind of
'cause-
have to. But it's
yeah, because like they don't they like had opportunities to actually take some risks. Like
Yeah.
I was hoping that
I was
that
hoping
thing actually
for
died.
something.
What a good turn,
Yeah.
because the whole movie, they were just picking them off. Like, 15 more guys just died, that's no biggie. Like, 30 people
Well, I
just
mean,
died.
like,
But
then,
if at the
if they
beginning,
actually
if
killed...
at the beginning none of the bombs went off and did the destroyer thing, they blew up that planet and then blew up the ship, the giant ship that was running for half of the movie, then the stakes would be like, it's only Poe, Finn, Leia's doing her own thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that would have been, like, stressful the whole movie.
Also, you could have seen, like, you know, Luke Skywalker and Rey, like, somehow come back because they still had the Millennium Falcon.
I mean, like, when Luke died at the end, he kind of just faded into nothing. Like, it would have been more emotional if Kylo would have killed him too, because that would have given Leia more incentive to be done.
Basically,
yeah.
But
It's just
Leia
like-
needs to go.
It's just like the movie's just plot choices were confusing at
And
best.
They were
confusing
subpar.
and too safe.
They
Subpar.
really
Safe.
had to do exactly what Kylo Ren said. Let's let the old things die, and then if
If they
And
did
then-
that,
The director should have thought about that.
Exactly. No,
Yeah.
but no. Let's let the old things die. If they would have killed Leia and Luke.
Mm-hmm. There would have been only
And-
Chewbacca and R2 and
yeah,
C-3PO.
why is
No, and then-
Leia still
Which
around?
they weren't even in.
They were cameos.
They were, and it
Yeah.
was really. It didn't even feel
and
like
it
a Star
felt
Wars
it,
movie.
it
because of
felt
that.
and like especially because like Bo touched on this, like if you're watching this movie, like C-3PO's only interactions this entire movie are just getting on by
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
people are like-
C-3PO is just like, hey, what am I doing over here? And Leia's just like, hey, f- you, dude, what are you doing?
he's
Get
like
out of my face.
C-3PO's like, hey, I don't want to be part of a mutiny because like I like everyone else more. He's like, C-3PO, I will kill you.
I know. She's like, okay, C-3PO
And then like
has been in,
R2 was in the movie for a second to say hi to Luke.
yes, C-3PO has been in
Chewbacca-
all 6 movies.
Chewbacca was set up for merchandising.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Chewbacca was a merchandise lackey for those penguin bird things.
Yeah.
yeah, he didn't have any
And
dialogue
then, like,
besides,
there's just
besides looking awkwardly when the bird looked at him.
Like,
he didn't do anything else.
The paths they could have took, which would have been exciting.
Like
They
one
just didn't.
One of the things I read was that Rey and Kylo should have switched sides. Rey thought because when she looked and jumped into the black abyss of dark side, she just jumped in. If she would have turned dark side and Luke would have been like, "Oh, I failed again," and then Kylo realizing what Rey said and turned good,
Yeah.
that would be very interesting.
We didn't even talk about the whole like dark side Black Mirror thing
Yeah.
that was going on. What
when she, like, with
significance
the-
did that even have?
yeah.
I just don't even understand like what that she's like. I touched the mirror.
Well,
it showed
okay,
me myself.
okay. I think
Well, I guess
it
there's
was-
nothing.
I
It
guess
was
I'm
symbolization.
asexual. I
It
guess
was-
I'm asexual.
No,
Show
no,
me my
it
parents
was-
and it's a picture of me.
I was
No, it
thinking
was
about
symbolism.
I
that.
guess I
because-
caught myself out.
Well, she went to the island expecting to find something, but as you saw, she pretty much found nothing.
Yeah,
so
I guess that was she
that
got
was
nothing from like the
symbolism.
dark side, but like what is that mirror thing anyways?
Yeah.
Luke is like, this is an ancient temple. There's good Jedi
Yeah.
I know, let
powers,
me
but
not
there's
show
also
you around.
evil.
Let me just show off about how I can catch a 50-pound tuna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let me just drink some of this milk.
that
Sounds
was
hilarious.
that
I
was
saw what
pretty.
you do all day. You're not doing it.
Another thing
Yeah.
thing I read was that there weren't enough just different looking people. You know what I mean? Like that whole island scene. They were like 50 guys dressed in a suit, and then like 2 or 3
Two
guys that
aliens.
are like aliens. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I
Like,
think
the whole,
if you see the old movies, they're
Well,
they're
the
everywhere.
whole, what was that one bar called? The
They need more diversity.
What was it? The Cantina.
Yeah, yeah.
That place, there was no regular looking people there. No regular human looking people. Besides Han and whatever else who was
I don't know.
whoever
I
was
feel like
there.
also maybe it's a symptom of just like CG effects for the aliens that
Well,
like
that's what
they
they-
just your eyes just sort of gloss over them,
Yeah.
right? Because then all you notice is the humans, because you're like, you know, it's just what you like notice.
It's Star Wars, so of
There's
course
gonna be
it's.
there's a new rebellion. Like,
It would have been a cool turn if Rey joined Kylo in creating
Yeah.
a new thing.
That
would
would
have
have been.
That would have been cool.
That would have actually made me like
because then
it.
it would have been them two against the rebels against the First Order. It would have been a trio of just.
But do you think the rebels and them would have tried
like,
to like?
But the thing is that you can't really guess. Like, okay, the next movie, if I was to
Yeah.
guess, like,
It's gonna be a spin-off.
I could predict everything that happened in that movie when I watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I basically predicted everything that was going to happen because they were like, watch out, something crazy is about to happen. Oh, Finn and Chrome Dome are fighting. I wonder who's going to win.
Yeah.
Like,
those
Finn
snappy
didn't even get
one-liners
hurt at all.
from everyone.
Like, okay, remember when Kylo almost killed Finn and we thought that he died and he just got his back sliced open and he
Yeah.
was in the thing? Like, that was crazy. I was like, oh. Oh! But like when
But he's
Chrome,
like,
like
I've got a metal toothpick and I'm dead.
yeah,
I thought
like Chrome Dome
Chrome Dome
offered
was
no
Syndrome.
like she was like
Syndrome.
but like she offered no like scare tactics to any of the thing at all. It's just like, oh man, it's a
Oh, she's shiny.
she's shiny
Ooh.
and she can't get shot by regular things, so you gotta beat her with a bat. Like
Okay, and I'll just do that, and
Yeah.
you're dead.
Okay, well,
Thanks.
one creepy thing
Finn,
about it was
Finn walked
that
away, no scratches, no PTSD or broken arms.
the
And
love-
that's how we'll wrap it up. We like to thank
let's
the
thank
Bo-bby,
Bubby 1 and Bubby 2 for coming
J-Dog,
and joining
J-bub.
us together.
That's me, J-bub.
Bo-bby
J-bub.
J-bub.
J-bub and Bo-bby we're very happy to host, and we will kick you guys next week.
We'll host
with,
again.
With another
Yeah.
fantastic.
You know,
Great
thanks
fucking
for having us. You know,
Yeah.
it's a real treat.